What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by StockX. StockX is the world's first online stock market of things for high-demand consumer products, including sneakers, watches, and handbags. StockX connects buyers and sellers using the same methodology as the world's stock markets, an anonymous live bid-ask market. All products are physically authenticated by StockX, allowing participants to focus on the transparency of data available, including real-time market pricing. That means no stressing about shady buyers and sellers, no lengthy descriptions, and no blurry photos to decipher. All watches are in excellent or better condition. All you have to worry about is finding the watch you want and placing a bid you feel comfortable with. Stay tuned, because next week we will be announcing an exciting giveaway on a killer watch that you won't want to miss out. Visit StockX.com/smoking to check out StockX today. That's StockX.com/smoking to check out StockX today. All right, we also got to talk about, oh man, working on cars can be a pain in the ass, even when things are going well, and so often they don't. What you don't want to find are weird, stupid surprises, and one way to avoid those surprises is to use Continental belts and hoses on your car, especially these OE belts. I bet you didn't know Continental belts are OE on tens of millions of Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, and GM vehicles that roll off the assembly line. They're also OE on the majority of BMWs and Volkswagens. Now, Continental is launching the aftermarket multi-V belt with the OE pedigree. It's their OE technology series, belts that are fanatically engineered for perfect fit, form, and function. And Continental has an OE technology series multi-V belt for 98% of the vehicles on the road in the US and Canada. Listen, if a belt goes bad, it's going to go bad quickly, and it's going to go bad in a place you don't want it to go bad. Avoid that with the Continental OE technology series multi-V belt, the belt with the OE pedigree. Get the full story at oetechnologyseries.com. That's oetechnologyseries.com. All right, on this episode of the show, one of my favorite people I've been friends with for a few years, but I haven't seen in a long time. I've wanted to get her on the show. Back when I did the Forza Horizon European exotic car tour back in 2014, I represented Team America, and Miss Molly Taylor represented Team Australia. And Molly is the 2016 Australian Rally Champion. She drives full-time for Subaru. That's her only job, is a race car driver. We are all very jealous of her. And she just mobs Subarus and has a really lovely personal collection of performance vehicles as well. So here it is, Molly Taylor on the Smoking Tire Podcast. You don't need good volume control. You just need to, when you get to the bottom of that coffee, you can be like, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, speed control, yeah.
Yeah. What's up, folks? Smoking Tire Podcast. We here. It's doesn't matter what day is it? Wednesday? Thursday afternoon. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Miss Molly Taylor is with us. Hello, love.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm great.
I haven't done the patronizing accent the whole time you were here until right then.
You did it very well.
That was good. What's
I'm not even
on?
going to attempt my accent. Good. Yeah, I've got some lovely coffee.
I know.
Thanks to you. So it was worth the extra little delay, I think.
Well, yeah, traffic. I never use traffic as an excuse because we should know better. But they're doing construction in Venice on Labor Day weekend. What the fuck?
It's a real bad idea.
It's a real bad. It's a real problem.
If anyone goes to Venice for this weekend, they're staying there till like October.
Ride a bird.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, I saw it today because Molly and I were hanging out and discussing the bird wreckage, bird carnage, whatever you want to call it. And as I was driving today to go get some new cat towers for my cats, woo, 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 ambulance flies by in the shoulder, mobbing. Eventually I catch up a couple blocks later, and I see the all too familiar sight of man sitting on curb, paramedics kneeling, friend picking birds up and standing them back up.
We saw like quite a few near misses just on a nice gentle cruise down the boardwalk.
Wow. Did they get hit by a car or did they just crash themselves?
It looked like someone just ate shit. It didn't look like they got hit by a car. The wheel, the
Jeez.
diameter is like 6 inches, bro.
It's too small.
The stability is not there for the 15 miles an hour down Venice Boulevard. Like, fuck no.
That's
We'll
why
find
when
out
the rides are-
soon on TST Mobility.
You know, yeah, I think Timmy keeps pitching the mobility scooter reviews. So
I like it.
skateboards,
Would you-
wave
would you-
runners,
I would eat shit
Yeah.
on all of them.
hang
you know what?
gliders.
Every time he makes the list of things, Wave Runners moves closer to the top of the list.
That'll be real easy to shoot.
Pretty soon, it's just going to be Timmy's Wave Runner show.
Send me free skateboards.
You're
Thank
gonna have
you.
to cut off the first half of your hair though to justify that show, like Eastbound and Down style.
Right.
Oh
right,
my
right.
God, we needed like Danny McBride your hair. Yeah.
I was at an Outback race and they had a esky, so like a cool bin that you put beers in
Yeah.
Australia with a lawnmower engine.
Oh
and
yeah,
some
cool.
wheels on it.
Those are
Yeah,
cool.
cooler racing.
That-
they have
yeah,
that.
yeah. So that'd be a good thing.
Wait,
to
what
test.
other fucking crazy motorsports have you witnessed in your?
Well, we
in
do
your
have
ass
lawnmower
backwards
racing
country?
as well. I haven't witnessed that myself.
They have that here too.
so
yeah.
no, we're not. Well, actually, we're
Was it
mostly
the-
similar.
You
The-
could draw a
the
straight line
Bathurst.
from Australia to Appalachia.
Yo, totally.
Probably.
Doesn't the
So-
Bathurst has like a dirt area in the center of it where they, people drink, and I've seen cars get rolled on YouTube. And
Cars
it's
get
just-
rolled? I haven't seen
people-
that.
Oh, like
people-
during the race?
During the race,
Oh,
people
we
driving
have like
couches.
at the top of the hill, people camp, and now it's like limited to like a carton per day per person.
That was one of my
That's
favorite.
like
Don't
that's
people
the
go bury
limit of
beers,
alcohol.
right? It's the thing they do, right? They go ahead and
yeah,
bury
because
beers.
you're limited to only one carton per person, which apparently like how many? I don't even know how many beers is. What's in a carton? 20.
Probably 24 or 30.
per day per person.
per day per person,
Yeah.
and
That
they
is
go up there
a-
for like 3 days and camp. So
Jeez.
it's by Sunday you don't want to go up there.
The holes in the desert. Just like, there's just holes all over the place. You go, what the fuck?
And one guy,
It's not
and
some
one-
animal burrowing. No, it's beer stocking.
Someday someone's gonna dig up a case of beer from 1996 that's been like a time capsule beer. But didn't you get to lap Bathurst? You told me you got to lap Bathurst.
Yeah,
didn't you?
with Subaru, we did a after the 12-hour race that they have there in February last year. We got to do for staff and customers and all that kind of stuff. We had a couple of road cars there with just some upgraded brakes on them, and then we just got to do hot laps around Bathurst for 2 days, which was awesome.
I should probably intro Molly. She's
True.
modest about herself, so I need to brag about her. So Molly is the Australian rally driver. She factory driver for Subaru, full time. All you do is drive race cars for Subaru, and apparently ride your bicycle and work out. But you don't have another job. Like that's all you do, and
It's not really a job, is it?
and your hobby is investing in cool classic cars, which I love. And when I went and did that Forza thing in Europe, Forza Horizon, drive across Europe in the whatever to promote the game, Molly was team Australia driving the Aventador.
Oh,
And so
cool.
we
Okay.
road tripped together.
How wide did
That's
that car
awesome.
feel in Europe?
Man, I tell you what, we went through Monaco. They thought it was a great idea for photos and
The worst.
footage. It was like we were like 5 p.m. in the afternoon on a weekday in Monaco with a whole tour of supercars, and some of the places. There was one place I stopped and got out to check because it was some sort of gateway entrance, and there was like a couple of mil on each side.
They didn't. Did we ever put cars in the parking garage? I forget. Was that it at one point?
Not in Monaco, I don't think. But
We did a film there for our television show, and I was driving an SLS Black Series, and it was right-hand fucking drive. And
I've been all right with that.
no, there's not. I don't look, it was an awesome car. It was like Stormtrooper, real crazy. But I was a right-hand drive car that I was only driving in left-hand drive
Yeah.
countries. And
a
France,
nightmare.
toll booths
Yeah.
and parking so with the body kit and things. So to get into the parking garages, it was like 3 spotters. What were the other cars we had in that parking garage?
We had a McLaren and we had an F12.
Oh yeah, the McLaren was a pain
Yeah, and
in
you
the
don't
ass
want to.
too.
I had a left-hand drive Fiesta because my rally car was left-hand drive when I was in Europe, and I was living in the UK. So I had the left-hand drive car to do the reconnaissance and everything. So I was used to being in left-hand drive, but yeah, right-hand. Everyone drives on the other side of the road.
Oh my
so.
god, they gave you a daily in the UK that was left-hand drive.
Well, I bought
annoying.
it.
Oh, nice. What was it?
Fiesta. So
Oh,
I mean,
Fiesta.
yeah,
like the old one.
Yeah, so it was 2010 model.
Oh, okay.
So-
It's a little. That's the tiny
Yeah,
one. Right?
I mean, it's not like trying to park a McLaren or.
No. I just mean it's not the same Fiesta they make now. It's the before that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the one
that's
before.
all.
It's not that old.
It took me a long time to just get to that. That's all I was saying.
The only problem is when you go from a country that's left-hand or right-hand drive to another country. If you
Yeah.
travel across Europe, the toll booths keep switching sides. Like you need a grabber claw, or
Yeah.
I don't know, or they need them on both sides, like they do at the tunnel.
The toll
It's
booth
on
in
both.
France was the worst.
Yep.
That was because they're like every 5K. If you
Yeah.
drive from the Channel Tunnel
It's
to
super expensive.
it's so stupid. But you have to get out of the car. That's who cares if it's expensive. You have an SLS Black Series, 6
You
foot
just
three,
climb
and you
across the
have to
seat
get-
to do that one.
Well, when I had my Skyline, what I did was I got one of those grabbers for like people in wheelchairs to get soup cans down from things. And I would just put the ticket in that way. It worked. It fucking worked.
It just gets confusing though, because if you're in a left-hand drive car
Yeah.
in the right country, then at least as long as I'm near the center line, I'm on
Yeah.
the right side of the road. So that was like my theory for ages when you're going backwards and forwards, and
Who
then it
always-
gets so confusing when you're in different countries and.
What bit of pop culture is that? It's a movie where someone yells at someone else and is like, the driver's always in the center. What? There's a movie where that
Maybe
happens.
that's where I heard it. Someone
Yeah.
told me, and I thought it was a genius piece of advice.
I know, me too, but I can't place it now. If someone in the comments in the live shows listening, and you remember what movie that's from, please let us know. I went to England and drove this Testarossa.
Yeah.
It's left-hand drive Testarossa in England, which is like, the same thing as an Aventador in Monaco.
Well, if you're trying to
Oh,
overtake
right-hand
as well, it's a nightmare to like.
This thing was pretty janky.
Do
You're
that.
not overtaking nothing.
It looked about like that.
You're making it. That's a goal.
You drive it like a momentum car, even though it has a.
It was okay. It worked ish. It did work.
Your commitment is just so strong.
Yeah, it worked ish.
Yeah, it was turned on. It was just slow.
Yeah. So I've been hanging out with Molly for 2 days now, and like we went hiking and shit and drove the Focus yesterday, but like I've avoided asking her like about her like background and family life and
Oh, good.
racing the entire time. We're trying to talk about anything else. So Molly Taylor.
Talked about politics. And
anything besides the things I'm supposed to talk about right now, the 90 minutes of this. So how'd you get into racing cars?
Well, my parents are involved. So my mum's actually, she was a full-time co-driver in the Toyota factory team.
Oh, cool.
Won 4 Australian titles.
4?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Who was
My-
the driver?
With Neil Bates.
Neil Bates.
Yeah, so they had the Corolla WRC car and the Group A GT4s and
Awesome.
all the cool stuff. So grew up watching her. My dad used to rally, but not at the elite level.
Tim, can you get a picture of? I'm sorry to not. What's your mom's name?
Coral.
Coral.
Coral Taylor.
Like coral, like
In the ocean.
In the ocean.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And his sister's name's Pearl.
Coral Taylor, Neil
there you
Bates, Toyota rally cars. I want to see some pictures of Molly's mom fucking flying through the air and shit.
It'd be funny if her parents were afraid of the ocean, but they just always had a dream.
Is this
Well,
your mom
her,
here?
like my grandma didn't even recognize the connection that she made when she named
Is this
them both.
Neil?
Wow.
Oh,
Forbidden.
forbidden.
That's them. So they've got a classic RA40 Celica now. They just do some classic
Rallying?
rallying in.
Cool.
But yeah, you can see the third picture, or the first picture is the
Top
Corolla
left.
WRC car that they.
Oh, look at that tiny little thing. Front wheel drive?
No, that's the WRC all-wheel drive.
That's all wheel drive.
Yeah.
Badass.
Oh, rad. What year is that picture from, or give or
What year
take?
was that?
very 90s.
That
Give or
was-
take.
No, it was. Oh God. Yeah, no, 90. Not early 90s. After that, like mid 90s.
Oh,
late
look
90s?
at that Celica. Excuse me,
that's
Celica.
a weapon.
That car is rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the car they just do some events for
that's a
fun now.
bitchin' car.
Well,
Wide
I say for fun,
flares.
and they dominate the classic class. So
For
really
fun.
called Celica?
That's what they say.
How do you call it?
Celica.
Celica.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
We have
Celica.
different
We
accents
call
I was
it.
here.
going to say I owned one and I called it a...
No, that's England and Australia. They use
Got
Celica. Yeah, and New Zealand too. Yeah, that car is ridiculously awesome. Do you have access to that vehicle?
I've been for a ride in it.
You never-
Neil doesn't let anyone else drive it.
Are you telling me you won a championship and they won't let you have a fucking go in their old
that's not
Celica?
fair.
I don't know. You meet Neil and you'll understand. That's like his base
I let
baby.
you drive my Focus. I don't let a lot of
You're a
people.
brave
I don't
man.
let a lot of people drive my Focus. You're a really good driver.
Oh, thank
Sent
you.
her down Latigo Canyon in my Focus, right seat, totally calm, no problem.
How do you
As
like,
he says, as he's twitching.
I wasn't twitching. I'm twitching from the Beeline Coffee, the official coffee of the Smoking Tire podcast.
very
how do you like the roads here?
They're incredible.
Canyons.
Yeah, to have those roads so close as well. Yeah, it's pretty
Do
special.
you have anything like that where you live?
We've got good driving roads. You have to drive a little bit further, but
Okay.
I mean, we're a lot more policed and regulated, and everyone's a lot more conservative in general on the roads. So.
Yeah, can't they take your car if you fuck around too much?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Is that
Yeah, so
only
it's
if you do
pretty
burnouts?
severe.
But like, what if you're speeding? Can they,
Speeding as well.
They can take
Yep.
your car for speeding?
Yep.
How fast do you
Speeding
have to go?
I think it's like over 30 or 40 Ks. So it's not. I mean, like
That's
it's a
not-
lot, but it's not like it's
It's
you're
not a
doing
lot for
200.
take your car.
Yeah.
What comes out, do they give it
They're
back or
pretty
is it
nasty.
gone forever?
They'll impound it. They can impound it for a while.
Okay.
I think if it's like, I don't know, you're a repeat offender, you do something really bad, they can crush it. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you got to. Yeah.
Crushing
That's if
is
someone-
rare
That's
here.
pretty extreme.
That's if someone wants to make an example of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have hoon laws. So
Well, yeah, but
doing
don't they
burnouts
just
and-
don't they just build cars just for doing burnouts there and have like little skid pads just for doing burnout competitions?
Yeah, we have
That's a good
competition
thing.
for it.
Yeah.
Summer Nats, yeah.
Yeah, you guys every year you set the record and no one's competing with you. But every year there's a new video.
like-
It's
it's just
So
like
we're the
again,
best, yeah.
Just like
Okay.
Subaru at the Isle of Man.
yeah, yeah.
We were chatting about that. Yeah.
I know, because I was like, why don't they let her have a go at the Isle of Man?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, well, only Subaru drivers apparently are allowed to do it, so like, she's as good as anyone.
Well, Subaru owns the bridge, I think, that goes from the boat to the Isle of Man for the ferry. So they just take it with them. Like, oh, sorry, Audi.
Leave the bridge. What bridge?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That's so rad, though. So your whole life, were you going to rallies and in the pits and around it, or were you kind of?
Yeah. So like growing up, I was like, mum was away probably 6 months of the year. So that's their 205.
That is
yeah,
the shit.
That's the dream car.
Pull
isn't
that
it?
over to me. That is
Yeah.
rad. In a with the front or back?
The front one.
They need to do the Marlboro livery.
That looks good too.
The
doesn't
Marlboro livery is amazing, and that's those two amazing rally cars.
Yeah.
ST205, is that right?
It? Yep. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Celica.
There you go.
Celica.
You're learning. Is that on a road course of some kind?
So that is that's actually a tarmac rally that was run last year. So that's just like a Group A tarmac rally
That's fun.
version that he just does a couple of events in.
Do you
So
Do you have a preference of tarmac versus dirt surface?
yeah,
you
I like the dirt.
You like the dirt?
Yeah.
Because the movement? of the
Yeah,
car?
I mean, I guess for me, I never really got involved myself till I was about 16. And my dad was actually running a rally school at the time. And so
Running
my-
a rally school. How
Yeah.
fortunate for you.
Yeah, it was quite handy. Well, it wasn't handy because my job was to wash all the cars every weekend,
Yeah.
which was a nightmare. But that we wanted my sister and myself to go out to the rally school and learn to drive on gravel, just purely from learn some car control, be really competent with a manual car before we went out on the road and some air.
Is that legit?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
That's
Here,
awesome.
Timmy just
Yeah.
pulled up
So
a picture
rad.
of
Yeah, it's got-
Molly's
it's got-
mom's fucking 18 inches in the air. It got to be 80 miles an hour. Shit is fire.
That's pretty
Great. I want that as a desktop of my computer.
Oh yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, so I went out to the rally school purely with the intention, from the driving side, just to experience it and learn how to drive off the road, so that we were better drivers and safer drivers when we were on the road. And my sister did that, loved it. Is a very capable driver, happy to move on with her life, and I tried it and was like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
now I get it. Now I get why you've I watched my parents kind of do it take over their lives growing up, and then I finally
So
finally
you
understood.
weren't hooked until you went to the school, or were you doing karting and stuff when you were
No,
6?
never. So I was
Wow.
really into horses. I wanted to go to the Olympics,
Aw.
and so I was on a completely different path, and then
Can't you
then
just
sold my
send a
horse
horse
and
to the
bought a rally
Olympics
car.
by itself?
No, fortunately not.
Can you recce on a horse?
Well, no. The,
Kind of nice. Good.
even in the horse competitions, the recce you have to do on foot. So that's not.
Wait,
very
in
fun.
the horse competitions,
Yeah.
you do the recce on foot. What kind
Yeah,
of
for
horse
the
competition?
cross-country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that's what
Gotta
is that
walk
what my
it.
sister was doing? She was doing hunter paces.
I
Do you know what those are?
Is that like in the UK where they send the dogs out and then?
No, it's not. No, it's a hunter pace is where there's a course that's like 30 or 40 miles. It's a long
like
course.
an endurance thing.
And they send 100 horses and riders, like a rally, like a couple
Yeah,
minutes
right.
apart, down the stage. And when they get there, they average everyone's times. And the horse that has gone the closest to the average,
It's time,
the
distance, rally?
perfect TSD horse. My sister won like 10 in a row.
But
at
how
these-
would you know?
My sister's horse had the perfect timed.
But how would you know
jog.
if it doesn't get defined until you get to
You
the
don't
end?
know.
So
it's just a
a
lovely
gamble.
day on your horse where there's a trophy at the
Okay.
end. My sister was amazing at this. I swear to God.
Yeah, right.
Or was she?
No, well,
She
it
was just
wasn't that.
lucky.
No, she had a perfect horse.
I mean, I know she won all the time, but like she's saying, like the time isn't set till everyone's finished.
Yeah.
So it was like a weird lottery, and 10 times in a row, it's like, hey, Alexis,
her horse was perfectly average.
this is a great horse. No, technically it's an
Is that
average
like the
horse.
only sport you win for being
For being
the most
average?
most average?
No, you can do it in a car. A time, speed, distance thing is
Oh, I
an
suppose,
average
yeah.
thing. Yeah, totally. There's some nerdy ass shit you can. There's ways to make driving not fun really fucking quickly. You ever autocrossed?
Yeah, it's fun, isn't
No,
it?
autocross is fine. TSD stinks.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Things where
I'll not do that.
where your job is to intentionally go way slower than your brain thinks you should be moving at that moment. Fuck
That's
that.
not fun.
And you're doing math. You're like, ooh, we have to drop down by 1.5 miles an hour.
That just sounds like driving in Australia on the road.
Yeah, right. Do you have average speed cameras?
We do.
Oh,
yeah.
fucking hell.
Yeah, they're nasty.
I just dealt with those for the first time ever.
Yeah.
They're shit.
Yeah.
They really do.
bad.
They really do the math.
they actually work.
I was like, I'm gonna get away with this for sure,
Yeah.
and then I did not at all.
For a while, they were just for the trucks to monitor, because we have regulations, how long the truck drivers can drive. And so then for ages, we're like, oh, it's not, it's only for the trucks. And then they started bringing it in, and then, a lot of people found out the hard way.
The nanny state, and then, now they're coming for your babies and shit, right?
Yeah.
But there's no gun death.
They do that in
A lot of
France
gun
between tolls.
Well, I
get timed.
just got it in the Netherlands when we had to drive back to the airport, and the lady at the airport rental counter warned me that it was literally, I think it's 100K in the whole country with TST, what are they called?
Average speed cameras.
Average speed cameras. Jesus, I'm sorry. And when on our way back, like I was trying, but like we were maybe not going to make our flight or cut it close. And I'm just like, fuck it, whatever the toll is worth making our flights out of there. And sure as shit, I got a ticket. It was like €100 or something. I averaged like 112K,
Which is like 70 miles an hour.
it wasn't that
It's not-
bad.
right.
At least in Holland, the ticket wasn't like punitive like it was in Switzerland, where they're like, you went 1 kilometer over, fuck you, like they're the
Well, in
meanest.
Finland, they do a percentage of your wage. They
Yeah.
ask you how much
Fuck
you earn.
that.
I think Sweden too. It's and
Yeah.
that's why people get like the $100,000 ticket, because
Yeah.
they're loaded and they have a Veyron, and then they get a big ticket.
Yeah. Speaking of Veyrons, Molly was the only one at this table who went to Pebble Beach.
There was a
all
few
the
of them.
Veyrons.
There were a few of them.
They're not even cool anymore.
Well, it just gets kind of overload when you like look to. We were just walking to dinner one night, and there were 2 Veyrons and a Pagani just on the side of the road, and it's nuts.
The first
amount
time
of
you go
cars
to
there.
Pebble, the traffic jams you find yourself in are really astonishing.
Yeah, there's some good spectating within the traffic jam, but they're
Very true.
incredible traffic.
Yeah, you see Alphas
that bit
getting
wasn't
push
fun.
started on the side of like Highway 101 or whatever. It's very cool.
But
I
there's
would have
just-
liked to see that.
there's too much money now. There's too many
it's
Pagani. Like
excessive,
there
yeah.
shouldn't be. You know what I mean? For a long time, Pagani made like 6 cars a year. That was appropriate. Now they're making like 150 cars a year. Everyone's got Paganis now. It's crazy.
And everyone's
There's a
gonna
lot
go what, and then everyone wants to put down money for the new vaporware thing that there's only
And
6 of.
This thing
that don't exist.
It's called the Devo. Did
Yeah.
they actually call this thing Devo?
Yeah.
No one ran that by anyone, huh?
Spelled D-I-V. I mean, if Lamborghini named a car Egoista, which they did,
Yeah.
this is
It was, I mean, that looks CGI'd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This is the new Bugatti. It's I think it's almost $6 million.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see this thing in person,
We
Mal?
did, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't
better?
think we were actually supposed to get into where we got into,
Well,
but we did.
it's
and we
over
saw
now.
It looks pretty impressive.
Is it?
Is
Yeah.
that blue sidewall
it's
really
just,
different?
The
Looks like a different blue.
that is.
On the tire?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different blue.
didn't
It's
even
odd.
notice.
Yeah, it's odd. Are those wheels are BMW M4 GTS wheels? Can't unsee that. I mean, it's aggressive. It's not like horrible, but like 6 million, really? Fucking hell.
I think the same thing as I said about the Apollo. Like that'll look really cool and period correct in 2030.
Right.
You know, it's just because I think the new Chiron is stunning. I think it's beautiful, and then this is the race version that's supposed to handle better and be more nimble, but shapely.
I like
it's
how
not
for
shapely.
I like how for 3 million, it's still not the best they could do.
Of course not.
3 million, it's like anyone else.
You can't even like register what.
You know, if you give Christian von
It's another
Koenigsegg
world.
$3 million, he gives you his best.
Yeah,
They don't.
you wouldn't want to spend that much money and not have the ultimate thing.
You know what's crazy? Remember when they were selling Veyrons? It was a big deal that they lost money on everyone. Remember that? It was like, oh, they're 2.4 million, and Bugatti loses money on every single one. Someone at Volkswagen went, hey, I'm not even gonna try the accent, but go, hey, They're rich as fuck now. We don't have to lose money on these anymore. Charge them, make a profit on them now, and that's what this is.
And they need
this is the finally turn a profit on these fucking
well, and
things.
I think Volkswagen is not making as much money as they used to back
No,
then.
why?
So they're like,
They need to,
they're like, hey, we kind of need to make money on everything now.
Yeah, no more diesel versions of shit. Yo, a bunch of people at Grid Life, though, were talking about buying the fixed diesel Volkswagens like dirty cheap. Dirty, huh? But like no, really cheap. Like people were buying, like a guy said he bought like a less than 100,000 mile TDI wagon that had been quote fixed, and it was like $8,000.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
And he said all you do is put the ECU tune on it and unfixes it, and you're fine.
Which is, and yes, that's true. But it's
That's
like
a horrible thing to say.
We watch Dirty Money, and we're like, these people are horrible. And then it's like, well, you can get and getting a good deal on those cars after they're fixed means you're still getting a very efficient diesel car.
Yeah.
But then the same people that
I
watch it are
know.
like, hey, and you can make it dirty again and get that 42 miles per gallon, and fuck
It's
the
funny. I
environment.
parroted the dude who owned it when I just did that right there, and in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have. You shouldn't do that.
You should not do that.
Oh my god! And Tim keeps pulling up pictures of your mom's rally cars.
They're
so
dope.
awesome. I know it's really distracting. So
Yeah,
wait,
I just need to try and somehow, like she set the bar pretty high. So
So you started rallying at 16.
Yeah.
So you're late in the game for a professional race person.
Yeah.
How did you climb then?
So I started doing some like dirt circuits and small rallies in Australia for a couple of years, and then decided we don't have a really big kind of one make cheap accessible series in Australia. So I decided to go to the UK. I managed to do a deal. They had it was called the Suzuki Swift Sport Cup, which was like
Sweet.
basically
Swifts are rad.
they were like pretty much standard with some suspension and underbody protection and whatever, but that was about it. And Suzuki were going to lend me a car. Well, I went over and did just one rally, just for the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they offered me a sort of free car essentially if I ran it for the next year.
So you did well in the first one then. I
Well, I
assume.
got a puncture on the second stage, so that was a bit disappointing. But yeah, we were
but-
sort of setting top 3 times after that. So
Yeah, that's an impressive showing, I think.
yeah, so I went over the next year, and then 2 weeks before I was going to fly over to the UK, Suzuki pulled out of the whole series. So that deal went. And then the team that were running the cars, they basically offered me a really good deal and said, for next to nothing, we'll rent you the car that you were going to be driving, and if you sort of look after it in the workshop and have access to the workshop and whatever, you can do that stuff yourself. So I decided it sounded like a great romantic adventure.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
It is a really
sounds
great
cool.
romantic adventure.
Yeah, until you land there and you're like, shit, I have no money.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone.
That's the
I'm on
romantic
the
part.
other side of the world.
But at least you speak the language.
That's true.
Because who was it? Was it Pat Long that went to Italy?
yeah.
So Patrick Long.
Well, I went to Italy after that. So.
He was a roommate with an Italian guy and a Japanese guy, and they were all in karting competition when they were like 15, I think, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so only one of them spoke the native language, but none of the other two couldn't communicate with that guy, and so they all had to they just figured it out.
Yeah, incredible. Well, at least I could speak the language. I had a just sort of, 20 minutes from the workshop, some friends of the guys who were working at the workshop, they had one of their guys in the local village had a barn that they'd converted like a corner of it for like their, farm hand.
Yeah.
So I rented that.
A barn?
Yeah, it was literally the corner of a barn, which it was all right. Like it was, beautiful English.
This sounds very romantic.
Yeah, until
Well,
they did the harvesting, and then they put all the grain in the back of the barn, and then I was like no seal on the bottom of the floor.
Did you have a dirt floor with hay and stuff?
No,
or-
it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
It was semi-civilized, just a bit dusty.
It's a really nice barn.
It could be like a fancy barn, or it could
Yeah.
be a barn.
Yeah.
No, it was like just a big room with a little bathroom and bedroom off to it, and the like plug-in hot plate to.
Just hearing
There you go.
Seamus McFly go, I don't hear many complaints from the pigs. No one likes a Back to the Future joke, especially when it's Back to the Future 3.
Back to the Future 3.
It's Back to the Future 3.
I was like, Seamus,
I just
forgot.
watched Back to the Future 3. Fucking good. England in a barn. Must be nice.
Yeah, it was
in
lovely.
the winter?
It was cold. Yeah, it was cold. And
did
so
you have
I did it.
Did you have to wrench on the car? You said you were in the workshop
Yeah,
too?
yeah. I mean, I'm not that good at it, but I did what I could, and then the guys were also in the workshop. They I think basically for all the other I could get the gearbox out, but then like pull it apart and be like, whoa,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in here. So if they did that, and then I would just like fit all the tires in instead, and
That's something.
yeah, no, I had
Yeah.
a great time. It was a real adventure, and did the British Championship that year. We won the first 2 rounds in our series, so it kind of started off like a dream run, and then I
And was it, what
crashed
car was
the
that in
next
again?
two. The Suzuki
The
Swift.
Swift. So it was the Swift. Yes, so okay.
Well, then the third round was third round was in a Jim Clark rally up in Scotland. Crashed there. Then we went to the Isle of Man. Crashed there.
Big crashes, little like
10 blocks started the same way.
The Isle of Man one, I like rolled over a hedge or like a stone wall, which was Apparently, Colin McRae's crashed there, so I kind of feel a little bit vindicated.
You
but
guys
it
are
was-
totally the same.
Yeah. I
You
wish.
crashed in the same place? That's like
Yeah. It's like a mark of honor rather than a. The funniest thing about that crash was, I mean, it wasn't funny, but because the car was upside down, and so all the spectators, because there's always spectators on the corners that are dangerous. So I've also learnt that as well, that now you know that when you see a lot of people on the corner, it's especially over in Ireland
That's
and Isle of Man,
that's
the UK.
double caution over
slow
jump
down.
sideways.
Yeah, they're there for a reason. So all the
Not there
spectators
for your
came-
benefit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that they were there to help roll the car back onto its wheels. So they were all there, getting into it, rolled it onto its wheels, but it was on a bit of a hill, and then the car just starts to roll down the hill.
Oh, no.
So then everybody's chasing after the car and managed to catch it, so it didn't go into the house down at the bottom of the hill. But I was standing there at that point going,
You couldn't.
Let it go.
I suppose you couldn't drive it out of there.
no,
Okay.
no. But we fixed it and could rejoin.
Have you ever rolled and then continued rallying?
Yeah, I
That's the shit.
That's rad.
That's
I
the
had,
real badge of honor.
Well, yeah, in 2013 or 14, 2013, I was in Wales doing the WRC round in Great Britain, and I came down, and it was basically like a steep downhill to a tight hairpin left, and I had the pace note wrong. So I thought I had like an extra 50 metres to brake, and I didn't, and I came in way too fast, tried to turn the car in any case, but turned it in a bit early, clipped the bank on the inside, and it rolled over, but it did like one complete roll, landed on its wheels, and then it's on YouTube.
and
I
it
think.
slowed you down.
We can't play YouTube videos, unfortunately. Copyright things, we get in trouble.
But
If it was on Instagram, we could.
it might be on one of my things.
It's funny, you thought you couldn't stop in time, and then you roll the car, and you're like, oh.
Well, yeah,
Perfect.
then I was like, I don't know how much time I lost because my entry speed was way higher. Like, I lost a bit more time doing the roll than it would take to turn, but like it kind of almost cancelled out with the high entry
net
speed.
zero?
It was like
you
not
roll
more than
on the
5-10
roof?
seconds.
Or was- okay.
Like it did one complete revolution.
Right,
and then-
right. But like I was saying, like, did the roof hit the ground or was it an air flip?
No, I hit the ground.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
because I had to ring. That was when I was with an Italian team, and I had to ring them up, and they wanted to know for the next service what repairs I had
What
to do.
do you need?
So I'm like, rear quarter, door, mirror, roof, other rear quarter, other door, everything except the bonnet.
Is it not pretty anymore? Oh man,
that's it.
Is that it?
No, that's not it.
Oh.
I lie. But I think it is if you down in the
If Tim wants to go dig,
in
you
the
can find.
depths of Instagram.
I would like to see your car rolling over for sure. If
Yeah,
Tim can
I mean
find
that was the biggest fluke moment that I've ever had. I don't really want to try to replicate it because I don't
Good.
think I could do it again.
It seems like in the videos I've seen of in-car or outside the car, when the car's up on its roof and you just hear the engine revving, and as soon as the tire touches, they're off again. There's like the focus of rally driving and probably all racing is just so one-dimensional. Of like, I'm just going that way, and if the car will go back on its wheels or even touch the wheel, and I can try to drop the hammer and push it back onto its wheel, like I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, it's definitely because you're out in the elements, and when you're out there, it's just you and your co-driver to if you have a problem during the stage or on the side of the road to repair it. So it's very much the goal is, I mean, obviously you want to go as fast as you can, but you do everything you can to stay in the rally and finish, and whatever kind of bush mechanics or roll in trying to get it back on its wheels.
Well, what did you tell me the other day about the starter and the what the fuck did you? She told me some crazy shit about what? Tell me that again, dude.
Yeah, so in the first round of this season in the Australian Championship, we hit a kangaroo.
Her co-driver is a mechanic. That was the prerequisite of the conversation, was that her co-driver happens to be a mechanic.
So it's quite handy.
I said that is helpful. Now,
And,
sorry, you hit a kangaroo. I
Yeah,
apologize. That was the point.
hit a kangaroo, damaged. We lost the power steering, damaged the drive belt, and so before we could repair that, basically the alternator ran out of juice, and we couldn't get it restarted, and the way that we managed, which was a phone call from one of our guys in our team who's a bit of a tech head, and he rang my co-driver and said, try the nut gun battery. So what we did was cut the main wires for the car to bypass the ignition system and everything that we've got in it. Get the battery off our nut gun, which we have in the back in case we need to do a quick tyre change. Shove the wires into the battery, and she started.
No way.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Malcolm,
boss,
my
right?
co-driver, was cutting the wires, and there was sparks flying.
Yeah, it seems so sketchy.
Ooh.
Like
It was-
she said, cut the main wires and shove them in the battery. And I go, what?
And then run.
But it turned over like perfect.
But how far did you have to get back to the team? Because wouldn't it die as well with no alternator working?
Well, yeah, we were able to repair the belt to get going again. So we made it through.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's
was
crazy.
yeah,
I can't believe
yeah.
that worked. Well,
Yeah.
I guess our drill's 12 volt, or they're enough volt.
yeah. Well, they were enough
they're
anyway.
Something volt.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild, right?
That's crazy.
That was a good
So
one.
you need all the fans to just push, the people waiting by the corner to push
Yeah,
the car.
well, we
but they
were.
weren't
The
there.
problem was we were on the road section, so we were in between stages. So
Okay.
we were very much on our lonesome on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, trying to figure out how to keep going because we didn't want to stay there.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah.
the kangaroo is no more.
The kangaroo is unfortunately no more.
Was it delicious? I mean, if you're gonna
Probably to whatever. Found it later.
I don't. Have you eaten kangaroo? I'm sure. you
Yeah,
have.
it's good.
Is it good?
It's good. Yeah, we do kanga bangers, which are like kangaroo sausages.
Oh, that's probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you grind anything up and put it in a sausage. It's pretty tasty.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like, no, it's wallabies people have as pets, right? Some people,
Oh, I guess you could. They're like smaller ones.
or maybe just the weird people I met.
Yeah, I
that
don't
looks
know
like you
many.
rolling a car
Yeah, you
right
look-
there.
Yeah,
He
that
looks
is the one.
sideways.
Yeah,
the
that's
one.
now. All right, but now I want to see this. Can we get some sound on this? So here's Molly rolling a rally car. And looking good so far. Oh, that's not gone.
That's swearing to my
Look at
co-driver.
that,
not
you
me.
have a perfect line up.
I know, right? I reckon I lost more time in the next corner, braking a bit early, going, surely I've bent something.
I think that
or
was. I think
broken
your
something.
reaction times were excellent there.
I think did you have to restart the car? It sounded like
No,
It was on?
Yeah, clutch in
It
and
didn't seem like you lost that
down the
much
gears.
time.
Yeah, well, because the entry speed was definitely a lot higher.
I
So.
really like your
That's crazy.
central, your central dash gear indicator and breath
Yeah,
counter there.
the Motec system we've got in our car now is pretty.
Do you just have
pretty cool.
one that's in the middle, or is that just a weird angle on that camera?
That was the older car, so we
Oh.
just had. That's actually like in my view.
Oh, okay.
The one we've got now, we basically have our Motec system in the centre, so the co-driver can see all the temps and stuff
Yeah.
as well. And then in front of me, I just have a rev light and a gear position.
Oh, yeah.
So I know what gear and just
That's-
when I see the red light, pull another one.
Oh yeah, and she gets to race fucking sequential gearbox now
Yeah.
in her cars.
Yeah,
it's badass.
like cheating. It's good.
It's not
Well,
cheating.
it's
if
actually,
every-
we're
it's
allowed
not
to
che-
do it, but
it's not cheating if everyone
easy.
gets one.
Yeah,
So it's just
it's probably the wrong
Cheating
word to
if you're
use.
the
I mean,
only
it's
person
very
that gets it.
nice to drive.
That's
it paddles and a handbrake, right?
So that car in that video was paddle shift, but the car we've got now is sequential.
It's just sequential. pull.
Sequential, yeah.
oh, look at that.
That's my baby.
E30.
Yeah, I like your philosophy of in investing in
house.
cars. And what?
Don't own a house and buy cars.
Don't
instead.
own a house. And yeah, she was like, I was gonna buy a house, and then I bought 2 old BMWs and an old Audi.
Good
and,
call.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very desirable cars, so you could sell them if you needed to. And in
True.
the meantime, I can get some enjoyment.
Yeah. And you're not home enough to own a house. What the fuck are you gonna own a house
Yeah, I
for?
don't want to grow up yet.
You're on
There
the
you go.
road like 40 weeks a year.
Yeah,
What do you need to be
exactly.
home for?
Share with my sister.
Yeah.
We're
So
flatmates. It's
you
brilliant.
race 40 weeks a year, like just Australia or international, or
We only do our championship in Australia 6 rallies a year.
Okay.
But then a lot of other work that I do with Subaru in general, and crazy ideas I have to go to Monterey Car Week and then come to LA, and
Just not be home. Be anywhere but home.
it's funny though. You
If you
get
leave
sick of traveling,
Australia,
and
you
then
ha-
after a
you-
week,
Yeah, you're like, all right, I need to go
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
I know exactly how you feel. But if you leave Australia, you have to make the rounds of everywhere you go.
Well, that's
right?
the thing, right? So I wanted to come to Car Week, and I was only going to be able to get over there for sort of 3.5 days, and then that's a long way to travel for that. So extend it to a week, and I got to go and see Dirtfish Rally School. Flew up to Seattle
Cool.
for a couple of hours to see
Place
that.
is good fun.
Did they know who you were, or did you play that like the stealth game where you're like, I've never done this before?
No, I spoke to them before
Okay.
and just asked if they would show me around, which they did, and just wanted to check it out. We don't have anything that big back at home.
It's such a cool place. They
It's
do a good
awesome.
job with that place, man.
I need to go up there.
And they have
do
a cool
FRSs,
collection.
right?
They got they got 86s and they got STIs, and they have a really cool collection of vintage rally cars
That's
as
right.
well.
The owner.
Did
I
you
mean,
see
it was
the
worth it
037?
just for that. No, I didn't see that.
The 037
but they had
was
the Colin
down in the
McRae
barn.
Focus, the Richard Burns 22B. If I saw 22B, I would have flown up there just to see that. To be honest.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Can you buy those in Australia? I know you can. Japan
For,
like $100,000.
Yeah, in Australia
Yeah.
they're probably like 140 plus now.
Ooh,
For a good
okay.
one. Yeah.
God damn! But
So-
it would have been you should have bought 6 of them at
Mm-hmm.
80. You should have taken out a loan to buy 6 of them at $80,000.
2 years ago, I hit up Musto. I was like, "Do you want to go halves on a 22B?" And he's like, "How much are they?" And he was like, "You mean more like 80-20 on a 22B?" Because I didn't have 15 sheets, and they were really expensive years ago.
I told Molly if she found one, I would go halves on it with her.
Well, I found
Totally.
one a while ago, and
Cool.
I managed to get a syndicate like of 4 people together to all chip in so we could do it, and then the brokerage fee was like another $30,000 on top of it, and that
Yeah.
just was like the nail
I
in
don't
the
like
coffin.
that.
So
Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't like
yeah.
that at all.
But it sold like that week, so yeah. It's,
No, they don't stay on the market. There's enough people that like. How many of those do they make?
well,
250 maybe?
no, was it like 400?
Maybe.
But
Tim, how many Subaru 22Bs
like
do they make?
400 and
I don't know.
something, I think.
There's not
But they only
a
bought
lot.
5 into Australia, so this was one of the 5 Australian delivered
5?
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest are all Japanese imports.
Wow.
Well, they brought 0 to America. So,
Even
yeah,
rarer than.
we got nothing.
buy it in Canada or
Are
something
most,
like that.
are most of them right-hand drive then?
Some
Are
of
the
them have been
Australian ones
converted,
right-hand
but,
drive?
I think some were converted. Yeah. Those ones were
424
converted,
made in 1998.
but they are very good looking.
They are
Yeah.
very
I
good
had an
looking.
old like GC8, just the 4-door rally
Dude, you
car
should just
for a while.
buy
That was-
shells. Like, buy GC8 shells.
Yeah.
Just because you could put anything in them forever. You could build a 22B.
Yeah.
If
They're
you-
awesome cars.
Yeah, you could build a better 22B for about 30 grand if you wanted to.
Well, my dad's in the middle of building a Sport Quattro because he had the same idea. He wanted a Sport
rad.
Quattro, had this like completely covered in rust, normal Quattro.
Yeah,
Took
yeah.
it to his mate. They've chopped it down the middle to
Oh, they're
shorten the
actually
wheelbase.
shortening the wheelbase. Oh my
He's
God.
bought like some,
Your dad's
flares
a
from
boss.
the UK. Yeah, he's hilarious.
Wow, that
He's
is
a dreamer.
that is yeah, that's dumping money down a hole right there. Shortening
Yeah.
the wheelbase.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God, that's nuts.
Is he going to move the engine back too, or is he going to try to keep it?
Oh, they want to
traditional,
make
or-
it like a replica, so
Okay.
it's like
So
the like the real
crazy.
thing. It's
So
got
the
like
most heavy.
some old retired dude that's a panel beater up in some shed like in the middle of
course.
nowhere on the weekends.
Why wouldn't
he
it
goes
be
up
that way?
and
That
spends
sounds
the weekend
perfect.
up there and
It's almost that sounds like a New Zealand story.
It does, like
Yeah.
the 86 guy who just
Totally.
drink a beer and cut panels off. And
That's
shave
the
weight.
guy I said. I was talking about that. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
weight reduction guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. There's that was the one of the 2 Ferraris I just drove in England. The guy bought a 360 Modena, but wanted a Stradale, and at the time the difference it was like Modenas were like tanked at like 80 grand, and Stradales were like 300, and he was like, I'm gonna turn this one into that, and he did. He bought all the correct parts from Ferrari, everything, and built his own Challenge Stradale. And I think he said he spent $130,000 on parts.
yeah, that's a labor of love.
But then he daily, and you laugh and you go, what a moron. And I agree with you, but he daily drives it and it has like almost 80,000 miles on it.
I won't knock that.
No,
That's
it's
great.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
It was beat, dude. The paint is toasted. The bumpers are all cracked. It was fucking beat. It was great. I love
awesome.
my new favorite thing is beater Ferraris.
Yeah, because I mean it's enjoyable to drive, so why not do it? But everyone just sits on it and resells
Yeah.
it later, or they're afraid to drive it. And especially they come with like the 7-year warranty, isn't that
Dude,
the
they
hack?
run so good when they have miles on them. This one, like when I say it was beat, like the powertrain was on point though. Like it did the thing it was supposed to do, but
That's good.
the body was a little.
That's
good.
great.
Yeah.
That's all right. There's something about something that's a bit of a sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a Ferrari with a
Well,
straight pipe sleeper.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
No, but you look at it and you go, oh, it looks worn,
Yeah.
but like worn properly. It's worn in, and that thing's been some
Yeah.
places and had some miles
got
and
some
got some
stories.
stories. Right.
360s are getting very appealing to me.
Good looking
I
car.
don't care that they're not that fast anymore.
Yeah,
They're
well,
fast enough. They're loud. They're good.
Well, everything that appreciates is usually not the fastest thing on the road.
I know.
mean, Countach, like quick, but the 0 to 60? It's like 5.
Yeah, it's not good
you know.
because you have to do some wonky ass dog leg shift, right? Have you driven any like old school weird like supercars or anything like that?
Not supercars. I drove a Diablo on a skid pan. That was
on a skid pan.
Yeah, I tried to drift it.
How'd that go?
It was hard work.
What broke first?
Me. Me.
Was it an early one, like no power steering? Like
No power steering, yeah. That was brutal. You get like one circle in and then I was like, I'm out.
the car just shit.
But that was awesome. No, the car kept going.
Really?
That was cool.
Was
yeah.
it driftable?
Like just not for a long time. You couldn't keep doing loops and loops.
Right.
You could get it going for like 3/4, one circle.
Oh,
and then,
that's better than I would have guessed. Actually,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but it was hard work.
It's like 245 fronts and 355 rears, right? And
It
like
was all wet down, so it was like, yeah, if it was dry, no chance.
How much angle would
no
that get on
chance.
it?
Well, you had to get quite a bit of angle, otherwise it would just try and straighten up. So that was you had to get enough momentum to get enough angle, and then obviously not too much because it's all wet.
So
to
silly.
Loop it. I mean, you loop it a lot in the process of getting that circle.
Diablo. What was that for?
Yeah. A company that I work with that do skid pan nights. One of the owners of the car is he's a great guy and he does a lot of track days and brought it out there, and
That's awesome.
we just thought it was a challenge to see if we could drift it.
I love
Yeah.
the idea of taking a Diablo to a track day, though. I bet that's kind of fun.
They're a cool car.
They're awesome cars.
Yeah.
Well, I was just talking in a previous show. The values are, in the really should have bought one 5 years ago
Yeah.
price right now.
Yeah.
What was 110 to 150 is now 250 to 350 for a Diablo. So it's like, well, oops, there goes that.
There goes another one.
Yeah, there goes another one that a loan at 3% really would have made a lot of sense on at this point. But yeah, is someone taking him? You see the guy who wrecked his Countach at the track day in Japan?
No.
Yeah, Tim, just Google like Countach track day crash. It's a white car. I mean, the guy apparently took the Countach to a lot of track days and drove the shit out of it. It has kind of a weird body kit on it or something. Oh yeah, yeah, that was it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Ouch.
yeah, pretty much the entire like rear subframe came out.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a big crash then.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Eric,
WreckedExotics.com.
that's got to be a
you never
different
seen
shot.
wreckedexotics.com? Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, right.
Exotics. Oh, there's track day crashes compilation. We can't go down this rabbit hole, Tim.
Yeah.
We'll be here all day.
That's a Subaru that's in the air and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
For people listening.
Yeah, I feel like mostly we've just talked about crashes so far.
No, if you crash a Countach at your track day, God bless you. At Grid Life on the Friday, every time I go to any track event at Road Atlanta that's like a weekend, the Friday is a disaster. All the cowboys come out and think they're about to set a record, and instead they fucking set a car right into a wall.
Ooh.
There was like 5-6 people just
It crashed on Fridays?
crashed on Friday at Grid Life. Like,
oh, man.
there was a Viper, there was a GTR, there was a Vet, there was like a bunch of cars just
It's a
Everything
bad
that's
start
real
to the
fast?
weekend.
not so. I mean, there's a couple slow cars that crashed too, but it was like, yeah, there was a guy with a brand new Viper who crashed on his first lap. Had paper tags on the thing. Oops.
Turn traction off. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the parade lap down in Long Beach where like the head of like Corvette program crashed into the wall?
Oh
It was
yeah.
earlier this year. Like he turned
No, it
traction
was
off.
I think it was at Belle Isle.
Oh, it was Belle Isle.
It was at
And
Belle Isle.
he's
They
like
were
a
using
good
a
driver,
ZR1
but
as a pace car, and
Yeah.
it was like cold. Tires were, and he tried to like, get out. He turned off traction control and just like looped the fucker right into a wall.
yeah, he
Oh,
was
I
like
think I
this,
saw
there was a
that.
slight crest of the road, and he unweighted the suspension and then wheel spin, and he just went rip.
Yeah, it's like I think it was Jim Miro. Is that who it was?
I don't know, but the rumor around it was like he's a good driver. He just messed up.
Yeah, I think it was like Jim Miro or like someone who's in the GM sports car development
Yeah.
program who's like set records places and shit.
Right.
We are going to do some super chat stuff in a bit. If you're listening live to us on this beautiful Thursday, get your questions in the super chat for the last half hour of the program. Okay. All right then. Where's your favorite place you've ever raced, Molly?
Favorite place. I mean, I think Finland is it's the mecca and home of rallying. So Rally Finland's pretty special. Done that a few times.
Is it snow?
No, so they do that in summer.
But it's,
Oh,
the,
okay.
it's,
Yeah.
the big, it's the big jump one, right?
It's it's
Uinapaha
some of the
or something like that?
Unimpoja is the famous stage. They've got some huge jumps. Parts of it are there's a lot of technical stuff they don't show much of, but other parts are literally like a roller coaster down into the
and you're
into a dip
are you
up
just
over a
flat
jump.
and just sail.
Some of the
100 feet
jumps
and-
are, and there's a lot, kind of on corners and you're turning in that's blind and over a crest and it's a pretty awesome feeling.
That's bananas.
Yeah,
That's bananas.
Oh yeah, that's that jump, right? Where there's just everyone gets the
My car didn't
crazy landing video.
Quite could do that, but
Did you land it all wonky or did you land it straight?
I don't know if I've done that exact jump. I'm not sure. I mean, a couple of wonky. This isn't the WRC car though. I was just in a two-wheel drive DS3, so it wasn't as gangster as that.
Oh, DS3. Oh.
Yeah. Over
How's
there.
a Citroen rally car? Yeah.
They're cool. So they're built for like a kind of one make class.
Mm-hmm.
1.6 turbo. They had the paddle shift out of the WRC car and front wheel drive. But pretty for that kind of like a 1.6 front wheel drive car. They were pretty impressive.
Do you like front wheel drive?
I've done a lot in front wheel drive. Actually, coming and driving for Subaru was the first time I'd really competed in all wheel drive. So I prefer that.
You ever gonna go back? Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Have you tried rear drive
No.
yet?
I started. So my first rally car was like a Holden Gemini. I don't know what you call that.
I don't even
over
know what
here.
that
It's
is.
like a
Do we get
Opel
that?
Kadett over in the UK.
Oh man.
Like 60 horsepower.
Holden Gemini.
Like,
What year?
Oh, like what would that be? 70s.
Oh wow!
Oh my God! Is that really what that is? That's a
Like a similar-
terrible car. Is that really? Is that it?
Well, not that exact model, but that kind of.
This
Fucking
makes a
hell.
Sentra look sexy.
It's like almost like one of those '80s Chevy Novas
They're
that
not,
we got
not
here.
particularly. I mean, they're
That's
cheap.
rear wheel drive.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if that one is, but the one that
Is it
my
older?
one was. I think it was older. I'm trying to see there.
Things
Maybe
back
like
in
the
rear wheel
second
drive.
picture.
They didn't know how to
that.
make them front wheel drive.
Oh, that one looks cooler. Is it that one?
I mean, it still doesn't really look that cool.
Yeah,
Cooler.
I guess. It's all
It has
relative,
white
right?
wheels.
white wheels and it had mud flaps.
Yeah, that looks pretty terrible.
That is an ugly car.
There you
But
go.
yeah,
Oh,
all-wheel drive
that's a
with
good
rallying
one.
is,
This one looks like it's doing a burnout at Hoonigan.
It does. It looks like.
like you see them. They have like they put like turbos in them and
I'm sure.
take them to
Looks like
summer nats and do.
It looks like
burnout.
Ollie
Right.
G's car.
Did you watch the Australian cars at the Hoonigan thing the other day? Like
No.
two guys brought Australian burnout cars there.
Oh, really?
They have really narrow rear stance. The rear tires aren't as fat as you think, but then it's still 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
And it's like they demolished the place. Like tires on fire, down to the rims. It's a totally different ball game than anything that's happened there before.
One case of beer per person, please.
per day.
Per day.
I love how they put like one case per person. You're like, okay, you're camping there for 4 to 5 days.
Yeah, like
whatever,
when you
but
show
it's
up, they've got to
one
do the
per
math
person.
on everybody.
Yeah, they're like check your boot and yeah.
All right, so you have 38 cases of beer, sir. And you go, I'm staying for a month.
My whole family's
The
coming.
festival's only 3 days, sir. I'm
Yeah.
staying for a month.
You have people that come in with you and then leave just so you can have a few extra bodies to drive through there.
They rotate around. Fucking hell. Oh, that's cool. Is that one? Is that one of those Holdens? Pull
Yeah,
that
it's a
up.
Gemini.
Yeah, like it's got a kit on it.
Yeah, see, this one makes it almost look like, escort like, right?
The front looks kind of 5.0 Mustang.
got a
Yeah,
little-
mine
it's
didn't
got
look
some-
like that though. And we put a racing stripe down the side.
Oh yeah,
That-
like the
Yeah,
panel
I was
van.
probably-
Yeah,
closer.
man.
These are
That would be
unfortunate
badass.
cars.
If you entered that fucker, this 2-door panel van thing in a vintage rally, it'd be boss. Is there a panel van rule?
Dude, those front
Oh, that's a
headlights
good
are
point,
terrible.
but
The
Can't imagine it would be very
Aerodynamic.
successful.
Oh, there's just
I mean, I
obsessed.
crashed at my very first rally. I got
Did you?
19 Ks in. Yeah.
19,
Then
no?
I crashed.
Couldn't handle the 60.
I know it was too much. Yeah.
Is that one
Yeah,
stage
too
or
much
were there a
power.
couple
It was the
stages in?
second stage.
Second
yeah.
stage.
So I made it through the first
Yeah.
stage.
Do you what? So what's your threshold for totaling a rally car?
Threshold.
That?
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, touch wood. We've had a couple of good years on that front. Yeah. I mean, it's part of the sport. It's an expensive way to learn, but it's a fast way to learn. And I guess it's, for us, or like in any racing, you're trying to drive right on the edge of the grip to get the most out of it, and not go over it. And you're kind of always walking that line. And the difference with rallying is you don't exactly know the road. You're trying to trust the pace notes that you've written are correct. The grip's always changing, so you're trying to drive to that level of threshold with a lot more unknowns. So it's it can get interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what happens if you have to call up Subaru and go,
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
sailed your
I'm just gonna
car
keep
into the
touching
woods. I know, right?
Yeah, it's a phone call you don't want to make.
No.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
shitty.
we try not to make that one.
I need a new everything.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Have you done snow races as well, or?
I've driven on a lake, like a training kind of thing in Norway, but I haven't actually done a rally. That's next on the bucket list.
Okay.
Lake in Norway sounds fun though.
It's
Worth
amazing
doing?
because because you're on these studded tires, so
Yeah.
like the cars have more grip than they do on gravel.
Wow.
And the more you slide, the more grip they have because the more the studs dig into the ice.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's no consequence because like if you really, really go off, like the worst thing that'll happen is you might get stuck in a snowbank if you go really far in. But
That's it.
that's like you just have to get dug out.
On the lake,
So,
on an actual snow stage, obviously there's more consequence. Yeah.
yeah, if you're on the stage,
It's
but
trees.
on the lake, so that's
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 great.
why like the Scandinavians have got such a high level of driving because to be able to learn in an environment where you can overcook it and come back and learn how to keep the car, on that line and a bit over, a bit under, and to balance that. I mean, to do that here, we don't really have the facilities because if you do,
No,
get
they,
it wrong,
and they do it at
there's
like
consequences.
They do it at like 12.
yeah,
Yeah, they start super young.
yeah.
Our driver training is garbage. I've just been driving you around Los Angeles the last 2 days. Fuck me. Think any of those people could survive with a lake? Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a manual. Like the manual you get for a dishwasher is longer than the driver handbook here. No joke.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad because especially in LA, it's like, can you move your feet like this and just inch forward? Great, good job. But
You made it.
yeah, the snow rallies are crazy because I've seen if they clip the apex too tight, the front bumper's like dragging through the snowbank, and they're just barely. It's like Colin McRae grazing the grass on the inside of a corner.
Yeah.
He's using all the road. It's
Yeah,
really
well,
nuts.
and they use the
You can
Scandinavians, they perfected the technique to use the snowbank
Yeah, you
if
can
they
bounce
need it.
it a little
yeah,
bit,
yeah,
right?
but to turn it in the right, or if it's starting to get into a snowbank, you almost like how you turn the wheel to turn into it or out of it, depending what's happening.
Yeah, you
not
can
necessarily what you would
you
think.
can use
So
it
you
to
can
break the car.
Yeah. If it's a bit coming in a bit hot and you use the outside of the snowbank
So,
to
like,
help slow
as
you
drag-
down. I mean, you
Wow.
got to hope there's not like a big tree stump in there.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's the art of knowing what's actually in the snowbank too.
That's why it works on the lake better
Yeah, it
than
works
it
on
works
the
on the stage.
It's better on the lake.
If you can memorize where trees are on a stage, you deserve a WRC championship because damn, that shit is crazy.
There's a few of them.
Yeah.
I spun my Subaru into a snowbank once on the highway, and the snow was so new that it went all the way in. Like, the left side, the driver's side headlight was covered in snow. The whole thing was, but the snow was so soft, we just pulled it out and everything was fine. It was the luckiest thing
I
in the
love
world.
that. I sailed a rented Hummer H2 into a snowbank in Colorado, and it just took out snow, ice, everything. And I was like, oh, the whole thing's going to be ripped off. Nothing.
You just pull it out and it's fine.
Yeah, it was great.
So lucky.
Fine.
Because there's obviously, if the snow's 3 days old,
Yeah.
it's real hard.
Fresh Colorado is very
Yes. Tahoe's different.
fucking crazy. Oh, let's head over to the super chat and see what the folks are saying. Is that the top, Tim? Mm-hmm. What's one car that if given to you, you would not accept? If someone, you wouldn't
Except-
take it for free? What wouldn't you take for
I
free?
wouldn't take. So in Australia, I don't know if you had it here. It's I don't know if it's called the Ford KA or the Ford Ka,
I think it's
Oh.
car.
Yeah, I remember
but
that
it's
car.
like the newer one wasn't as bad, but there was the older model.
Not-
that one.
That one it's one of the saddest looking vehicles. they've
okay,
updated.
they've updated a bit, but
They've updated with the new front end. There it is.
that
Yeah.
yeah.
It's- It's somewhere between
really don't like it.
Droopy Dog and like a Super Mario Brothers character. It's
it
really
looks
horrible.
sad too, doesn't it?
Horrible,
So sad.
horrible car.
Yeah, so I'd probably respectfully decline that.
Yeah.
Volkswagen Thing.
Yeah. Sure.
Just ugly, stupid, slow, former war machine, like all of that put together. That was where I'd go.
I've got a list of about 24 things. I just wouldn't. I have no interest in owning. Any any truck built before 2013? Really? I mean, I don't know.
I'll take them.
One car, like, just no, not even if it was free. Any Mitsubishi, not an Evo.
Diamante.
Hey, I had a Mitsubishi Mirage rally car for a couple of years, and it was cool.
I don't want it.
I'll take
All right,
any
then.
rally car. I'll take
It
any
was cool.
rally
It had
car.
like a dog box and this like cyborg engine revved to like 8,500.
Listen, I hadn't considered your specific application. How much of that shit in that car came from Mitsubishi? How much of that can you get in a Mirage?
Yeah.
Zero.
As a road car, maybe not. Yeah.
Is that engine even related to the Mirage engine?
Yeah. So they built it for like a circuit racing series, a one make circuit series.
They did?
So it's a Mirage
Okay.
engine. It's
It is. It's not a 4G63. It's not an Evo engine.
No,
It's not. Okay.
don't think so.
If I was Mitsubishi, I'd just be like, we have a better engine here. Just use that.
I mean, an Evo engine in the Mirage, that would be cool.
There was a dude in New Zealand who he filmed who was unhappy that the Evo only came in a sedan, and so he took a Mirage, and he basically took the passenger cell of the Mirage and put an Evo front, Evo rear clip together on the Mirage and a full Evo drivetrain.
Well, they
It was
have
fucking
regs now where
crazy.
you can put the drivetrain in as a rally car, but yeah, I
You
haven't
basically-
seen the like body work
It was
adjustments
badass,
either.
and you would drive it from like basically the back seat where the back seat was. It had that one of those really long steering columns, like you know what I mean?
That's what we've had to put in our car because I can't reach otherwise.
Really?
We've got like 150 mil steering boss extension. Then I had to move everything back. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's so sweet.
yeah, trying to reach
You
everything.
move the pedals and everything back.
Yeah, because we had a pedal box now, so we can put that wherever we want. The only problem was for the first couple of rallies, they didn't move the wipers and the indicators. So when I was strapped in, like if it started to rain, I couldn't like reach had to get my co-driver to like
That's
put
funny.
the wipers on for me.
And then
We've
they're
moved
sitting
them
there,
now,
you know,
so-
+2, 4 over plus,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, can you with the wipers? Like, I'm kind of busy.
A little bit going
You need
on.
a grabber stick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Greg wants to know, I'm looking to buy a third toy car from the year I was born, 1991. What is the most interesting car I could get from 91 for $15,000 to $17,000? There's a lot of interesting 91 you can get for that money.
Get a good Fox
Celica?
body.
Celica.
Celica?
You could get a GT4,
Yeah.
probably.
They're cool looking.
You could get a nice Fox body Mustang. You could get
A vet.
a Vet. You could get a 300ZX,
Yeah.
probably.
Dodge Stealth.
You get a Stealth. You get the nicest Dodge Stealth ever. Did you have those? No. It's it's a partnership between Mitsubishi and Chrysler. It's a Mitsubishi GTO,
Right. Okay.
but the Dodge version of it. It looks a little different. It's actually kind of neat. I think they look cool. It's the same as the GTO under there, but the wing is a little different, and they changed the headlights and the front bumpers. They changed up the look a bit. I was actually a fan of the Stealth.
One of the only sports cars my dad ever liked in the 90s.
I just
Don't
like
know
the
why.
name.
Yeah, Stealth.
Yeah.
Stealth, that's it.
Twin turbo V6, all wheel drive.
That's all right.
Not slow, a little heavy, but they're kind of neat. What else does 15 to 17 grand get you from 91?
A lot. You
It
want an
does.
E30,
A
like
Lotus
a modded
Elon.
one. That's more fun.
Definitely get you a Lotus. If you want something weird, he said interesting.
Oh.
Lotus Elon. They're not good,
Interesting.
but they are interesting. They're not good. There's a bunch. Nothing from the BMW lineup.
What's a
Nothing from the
Mondial
Porsche.
cost?
Ooh, you could get a fairly crappy Mondial. Yeah.
Fairly grabby.
The dude I just hung out with in England with the high mile challenge would 100% say get the Mondial.
That'd be pretty. That's a very unique choice.
By all
If you know
accounts,
how to
they're
wrench.
way underrated. They're actually all right. You could probably get a real terrible Ferrari that might not run.
It's not really going to be enjoyable as a toy, is it?
I bet you could find an R91 RX. Is that FC? RX7?
I think,
We call them RX-7s.
Huh?
We call them RX-7s.
No, but FC would be the one that sort of looks like a Porsche 944.
Yeah, okay.
Come to think of it, 15 to 17 will probably get you a Porsche 944.
probably.
Could, yeah. Yeah, there's some options, Greg. Thank you for your donation, Samuel. Cody says, headed to Vegas. Look forward to Lotus of Siam. Blowing up our spot. Lotus of Siam is a great Thai restaurant in Vegas. We like it. Any other food suggestions there?
I don't know. We went to a restaurant last night and Spam was on the menu.
Hell yeah, we
So-
did. We went to A-Frame, and they have they have Spam Masubis.
It was actually,
Yeah.
well, I didn't try the Spam, but the rest of the food was
The rest
very
of the
good.
food was good as shit, right?
Yeah, sure, it's real
Yeah,
good.
it was very nice. In Vegas, There's a lot of good food in Vegas. What else do you eat in Vegas? Go off the strip.
The only thing I've eaten there that I really liked was Lotus of Siam.
My favorite thing to do every time I have to go to Vegas now is go off the strip and find some Vietnamese food. That's a good place to start. Just search Vietnamese nowhere near the strip, and that's what I would do. I don't have anything for you besides that. Lotus of Siam is a good place to start.
The Wynn Buffet is fun. It's like Willy Wonka.
It is. You got to hit one buffet while you're in Vegas.
Yeah, I recommend that one.
Favorite Vegas buffet?
I've never been to Vegas.
Really?
So I'm taking some notes now.
You also don't drink, so you wouldn't find
Not
Vegas
much fun. I mean, like after a rally, if we do well.
So Vegas will only be fun if you actually win.
Yeah,
you win, you get fun in Vegas.
If I win, yeah.
But
then I'll have two wines, and then that'll be me. So
you could do Vegas in 2 hours. You could drive up and down the strip and go, holy shit, here's a bunch of big weird stuff. Like, why is there a pirate ship next to it?
I really do want to go to SEMA though. That's on my
You should do that.
bucket list.
Yeah, SEMA is fun.
Yeah,
especially the first time. It is. You do it for 10 years in a row and you go get the fuck out of here. But the first time it's very overwhelming with the amount of things you can buy for a car.
Yeah, that's on the list.
Yeah, that's a fun. And it still somehow gets bigger. They had to eliminate the taxi stand last year because they just needed more front exhibit space.
Jeez.
So now you have to go to a whole separate place to get a taxi. There's even it's so crazy.
Just take the monorail. Just do that.
I did actually.
Yeah.
The monorail's the shit.
Yeah.
And you sing
still have monorails?
Uh-huh. In Vegas they do. Yeah, they have monorail. Yeah, it's really depressing.
We had one a couple of years ago. It closed down. It was a big deal when it got.
Yeah, the Sydney monorail did.
Yeah,
why did it get shut down? No one
used it.
That's because it was not a cool monorail. Here's why people use the monorail, because there's no traffic more frustrating than Las Vegas traffic.
Even more than LA.
Yeah, I would say so. Las Vegas traffic is really because the distance is so small.
True. The strip is very short.
So,
and some of the turns don't make sense. Like you can't make a left, and it's a nightmare. If you miss the entrance to a hotel, you may have to drive a full mile around to get back to it because they're just so massive.
Yeah.
But you do see Jeeps with underglow in traffic at SEMA. I have seen some crazy vehicles at the gas station or at the valet that pull in. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Nice.
The best thing about SEMA is you get to stay for the Friday when it ends, when they drive all the cars out of the building, and you just sit at the exit
just spectate
and watch the coolant pools accumulate.
Yes. or you get to see the cars that don't run.
Yeah, the cars that have to get pushed, and I would skip the whole show
and just
show up around 2 p.m. on Friday and sit outside that south entrance and just have a margarita and watch. And
watch the show.
Yeah, you don't even buy a ticket. You don't nothing. The fuck it. You can't buy a ticket. You have to get a ticket from Subaru. It's
I'm on it.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's if you know anybody, it's the easiest thing in the world. Oh man, this guy has a Passat W8, a glutton for punishment. Did you get those?
Don't think so.
The W8.
The W8.
Yeah, they instead of a V8, they made a W8.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a strange engine. It's two V4s stuck together like that.
Yeah, right.
It's very odd. It's half a Veyron engine.
And why? What's the theory behind that?
Passat was trying to go way upscale.
It makes if you wanted to make a V8 that is very short.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why you do it. And I was wondering what your opinions are on the W engine. Love, hate.
Cool idea. I can't hate it, but it was a great way to earn money for a service center. That's what I think. I think that's what it was. I think it was cool when it came out. We're like, wow, what an idea. And then, 2 years later, you're like, why do I need my Passat to be this interesting?
Look at that cylinder configuration, Mal. Isn't that weird as fuck? Isn't that strange? So it's I like it. I think it's a compact, neat V8. If you showed up somewhere...
Was heating an issue for it then, or was it?
Was what?
Heating an issue? Did it...
I mean, not. It's a Passat, so I don't think people are going to track days with it, but I don't know.
You never know.
That's when
those cylinder walls look pretty damn thick. I mean, that looks pretty... assuming underneath, if that's not just a plate, if that's actually the block, that's pretty beastie, right?
It was I agree. It was just in such a dull car. Looking back, that was when Passat was ooh, this is kind of almost a Mercedes, but the Passat name has since been kind of you're like an Accord, and so
wow, that's all
God.
ahead of the. If you look at the drivetrain picture Tim just sort of found, is that. Are we looking at the front drive shafts there? So that's all hanging out ahead of the front axle. Is that correct? Or am I reading that wrong?
No, I think that looks correct because that would go out to front axles for all-wheel drive.
Yikes.
Because it was W8 motion, right?
Uh-huh. Wow, that's way out in front of the. I bet that thing understeers like a.
That's why it was a W8 because there's
Yeah, because it has to be short.
Right.
Go up, Tim. Scroll up, and there's a picture of a Volkswagen with the hood up. Yeah, see, that whole motor is in front of the front wheels.
Like an Audi, like an old Audi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something tells me the handling might be a little off.
Yeah, but that's a go straight in the snow kind of car.
You want to drive that on a lake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got no consequence.
But you know what? They sound kind of like flushing a toilet.
Like the Bentayga 12.
The Bentleys, yeah.
You know what my dad works? I went to Monterey car with my dad. Every time he heard a V10 Lamborghini, all he would say was, "Oh, there's two Quattros." Not listen to the Lamborghini. He was just like, "All I'm hearing are two Quattros."
Yeah, that like the Audi RS3 sounds like half a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I like your dad. That seems cool. Yeah. Michael says, just got a Fiesta ST and I'm about to daily it on snow tires for a snowy northeastern winter. Tips for having front-wheel drive loose surface fun. Molly?
Macca's trays? Is that it? Do you guys do that?
Oh,
No?
lunch trays? Yeah, look on the wall. That's a Bob Bondurant lunch tray on the wall.
there you
do,
go.
yeah. Yeah. You can
No, the ST's awesome car.
yeah.
Awesome car.
What's the best tips for having front-wheel drive loose
Front-wheel
surface
drive.
fun?
I mean, like, you just always want to keep the front wheels pointed where you want to go. Because, like you can, on a lake or whatever, I drove some front wheel drive cars around there and, like you can set them up pretty nice for the corner, but they're very efficient at when they get the grip back.
Just
They
point, go.
Go where they're pointing, yep. So the biggest thing you see is, counter steering or turning to the slide but not correcting it soon enough. And so, they're quite aggressive when they do grip up and go. I
love when you see like a guy really mobbing a front wheel drive car and or a girl, excuse me, and they're just ignoring what the back of the car is doing entirely, right? Really, only the front wheels matter at this point.
Yeah.
And the back is like all over the place.
As long as the
It's
front's got some grip and you got to point in the right direction, the rear's going to eventually fall into line. So.
Yeah, well, especially you see it on road courses too, where you got three wheels in the air, and I mean, it's crazy, right? Gabriel wants to know, as a Mark II Volkswagen GTI with the 8-valve engine, a good entry-level rally car, 340,000 miles. Should it be rebuilt or swapped for the 16-valve? Any good places in SoCal for rally? Molly, what do you think about it?
I don't know much
Mark
about
II?
the 8-valve versus the 10-valve engine, or 16-valve, sorry. But I mean, like as a rally car, that's sort of like economical.
Yeah.
It's a good starting point for sure.
I think you want the smallest engine you can find for your first rally car. And
Yeah,
you're probably going to crash it anyway.
Exactly. I mean, hopefully you get more than 16 or 19 Ks or whatever I did. But I mean, I think you want something that's economical, and that you can learn the craft in first, because there's at the beginning you'll be learning that, and then I mean when I started it was more like take that Gemini and if you can drive the door handles off that, then you're ready to go and get the next car. So yeah.
In Southern California, I mean, if you just want to like practice driving on dirt, I just head out to like California City, Mojave. Like we have a lot of desert. just drive into the desert and you will find dirt roads. If you're talking about organized rally, you want to check out the California Rally Series, which is a Southern and Central California rally series, and our own Tom Morningstar has raced in the California Rally Series. A lot of cool cars, a lot of really nice people. So that's where you want to check. And there's a lot of is it Rallycross? What do we do? Is it Rallycross too?
Yep.
Yeah, they got a bunch of Rallycross around too.
They do more of that. I think there's one Rallycross a year in December, north of Irwindale. I can't remember which track it's held at. Something really small.
Is it Paris Auto Speedway? Maybe.
Sure.
That's where they do the those cross carts. Have you seen those things?
They look like fun.
They're nasty. They're
look
really,
like
really
fun.
good. Next time you come to the States, I can get you driving one of those.
Sold.
My homie runs that show.
SEMA cross cart.
Yeah.
Sounded
SEMA,
good.
yeah. But we have to go to Thunderhill where they have the track with the jump in
Thunderhill.
it. It's an awesome
I
track
like
up
it.
in
It is.
Northern California. Yeah. And it's a really good track, yeah. All right. Phil wants to know, I have a 91 Toyota Mr. 2 Turbo with a Gen 4 blah blah blah. Oh, from the Caldina engine, right? That's good. Looking up to move up to something larger, either a right-hand drive FDRX7 or an R32 Skyline. Love the reliability of the Mr. 2. Will consider comparable JDM wildcards. What do you like in the JDM world, Molly?
Subaru. I like Skylines. A big fan of Skylines too.
Skylines are fun.
Yeah, the R32's nice.
Skylines are big boy Subarus.
Yeah.
It's hard to make. Subarus have no top end. If you want something over 100 miles an hour, a Subaru is not the answer. It just isn't.
Yeah, but you want to get out of corners is where the fun's at.
Okay.
True.
So you can get out of them well.
But only the small ones.
You just need a lot of them
the
close
big
together.
Something but faster he already has a pretty quick car. That MR2 with the Caldina swap is a fast car.
Well, it seems like the R32 would be more reliable than the FD, just because of its rotary engine versus RB, right?
Yeah, I mean R32s, if it's a good car and you're not running a zillion horsepower, they are pretty stout. I mean, you might want to switch the ceramic wheel turbos for the steel ones. That's you'll get a little power, but you also get a little more. Otherwise you have to let them cool after you go hard or they crack. Blah blah blah. But they're pretty stout. They are. And R32s are good investments if they're the right cars. I say get a stock R32. I love those. I was just at Lee Keen's house. He's got a stock one.
Oh, is that his? I saw the photo on Instagram. It's nice.
Really nice.
The raised wheels ones?
Did not have raised wheels.
Oh, maybe he had a photo of a different one up.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. I think if you scroll down a little bit, little more. There, left. Purple Porsche. Oh, is it in there? Oh, it's just out of frame. By the way, if you look in the back of that picture, Molly,
Molly's head just
that's a Subaru WRC car. Yeah, he has it. It's like 2002. It's not a McRae car.
Whose car
but
was
it's
it?
somebody famous.
Yeah.
I forget who. Hang on, I don't have my phone, so I can't zoom in.
Solberg?
It might be Solberg. I don't know. I can't see. Because I don't have my phone and I can't zoom in. I'm sorry. It's somebody's.
Cool anyway.
Oh, Tim, can you read that, Tim? No, sorry, folks. Someone out there can read it and is screaming at their screen. It's a real rally car. It's a real WRC car, though. It's bitchin'. That's the guy who's building my Porsche. My Porsche. Anyway, Omar wants to know. Asked me on Instagram about STI versus Audi S4, and ended up buying an S2000. That's why you should not ask me for car advice, because you didn't even want the things you asked me if you want about. I'm just kidding. Thanks for the advice anyways. How to decide whether to preserve for value or to enjoy the car. The values are going up. Drive the fucking car, man. It's an S2000. It's not an Auburn boat tail speedster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Unless it's like bone stock and you think you're gonna make, I don't know, what's the enjoyment worth? Like, if it's gonna go up $2,000 in the next 4 years, like that, who cares? And it's not that that's an insignificant amount of money, but over 4 years, like the enjoyment's worth it, because you'd spend double that at a driving school for 1 day or
Cars
for 2 days.
take up space, dude. They're annoying. You have to deal with them. They have to service them.
There's got to be a purpose. Got to get the enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. And if you want an investment, there's a lot better investments than an S2000. S2000s are nice because their virtue is that you can beat the shit out of them. That's their whole virtue. I don't know. I don't see the point in bubbling an S2000. Drive it. They're fun.
Or you could sell it and buy the STI you was looking at.
Or sell it and buy the other thing you were looking at. Sammy says, best pick for a daily driver, a base 911 Carrera, a 718 GTS, Grand Sport, or an M4 competition. Daily driver. Okay. Do you need a back seat? Because if you need a back seat, there's only one car there with a back seat.
Well, if he's going Maryland and DC area, isn't that notorious bad traffic? Like, you probably want the base 911.
I would say 911 is probably going to be the best in traffic.
Because the other ones
shitty roads.
Yeah.
The roads are terrible up there. That'll probably ride the best too.
Yeah, exactly. Grand Sport would probably be too stiff. Same with
M4 certainly would be too stiff. 718 might not be too stiff, but if you can afford the Carrera, just get the Carrera. That's the rule with Porsches. Just buy the 911. It's like the
That's a good rule.
It is, yeah. Well, I mean, if you hear salesmen or GMs or sales managers or dealers talk about it, someone who comes in and wants a Cayman will buy a Cayman, and that's fine. But like someone who comes in and thinks they want a top tier Cayman will almost always be talked into a 911. Almost like a huge portion of the time. This is my Porsche salesman friends tell me that thing, which makes perfect sense. Kyle says, I hear rumors Ford is going to stop producing cars excluding Mustangs, and was curious if now is a good time to get into a Fiesta ST as an investment. I'm on a budget, so it would also be my daily. Oof. A brand new car is not a good investment, even if they stop making it.
Mm-hmm. It'll go down for years.
Yeah. If you've got that money, you should buy a 2007 Subaru STI, and that's a better investment because that'll be $17,000 forever. Right? Or anyone else?
Yeah, they hold their value, and now, like in Australia, the older ones are definitely.
Hawkeyes are worth money.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't like hatchbacks; they just skip over those. But the Hawkeyes
And
are
the
worth
hatchback
money.
was, I mean, I think the hatchback was the start of like, how many designers worked on this thing? 'Cause it was just, it's weird looking. Weird looking car.
She has a Lavorg. She has the STI wagon that we don't get here.
We do not get that.
That's a cool car.
That's not fair.
It's like a full wagon, right?
Yeah, so it's basically, I mean, it's not a WRX, but it's like the concept, I suppose, is it's sort of you go into a car like you'd buy a driver's car like a WRX, but with a wagon.
There it is.
That's the picture.
It's got like is it STI motor? It's got the.
So the STI on that is just like a strut brace and styling and stuff. So it's the same.
No,
It's a good looking wagon.
Same engine.
It's the same engine, right? 2.5 turbo.
But like what, your 2-litre turbo?
Oh, it's the
but yeah,
WRX
like
engine.
the STI is not a different engine.
Not a good angle in
Right.
white, I would say.
Which
but
I'm a big fan for. If they made that like they do with the WRX and WRX STI.
It's a nice car.
But it's a lovely car. Super practical. I fit 2 bikes in the back.
It's also free.
Yeah, that's
Her hustle is fucking strong. She gets the hookup. She gets that factory driver.
I would expect so.
daily driver hookup.
That's awesome.
Very
Yeah,
very
nice.
spoiled.
The game is tight.
Well, you can't get out of the race car and then be like, I guess I'll get in my Toyota pickup or whatever. You know, they're like, no.
No, if you rolled up in your fucking Audi Quattro, they'd be like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean that like surpasses any kind of thing like that. I think
it transcends.
That's just on another level.
Totally.
But I mean, same if you rock up in even a 2-door mid 90s WRX is what I'm really after because the 22B's a bit of a pipe dream. So I feel
But
like
the
that's
regular
something.
WRXs are totally doable.
Yeah.
You want to get one of those early ones that has one of those fun, like wacky '90s like fonts on the back, where it's like
the WRX
the
sticker,
splash WRX. That shit is great, dude.
Brilliant.
You should put that on a shirt. See if you can
that's a
bring
good
that
idea.
back, like the OG on your race car.
Do like a modern version.
No, a throwback livery.
Oh, I have been pitching that for like over 6 months.
What would you throw it back to?
Well,
Like your
Like the-
mom's livery? That would be
no,
sick.
like the 555 kind of,
With
the
WRC
555
blue
livery.
and
Yeah, something like that.
Let's get
Well,
a
like-
picture
like
of
Lee's
the
car.
Huh?
The 555 is like Lee's car. I
Oh,
think.
it is?
Yeah.
With the scallops? With the yellow
Yeah, yeah.
scallops?
Yeah.
Can we get a live? Oh, yeah. That?
Well,
No,
so
that's weird.
that's like a modern one that they done because you're not allowed to advertise the 555.
Oh, well, there's one that actually has the 555 on it.
Yeah, the top left one. Is,
Oh, yeah. No, that's
the top left one. I
All the
reckon
way
that
there?
should be the original. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you could do that. Just change up the number, right?
Or the Possum Bourne, who was a famous Kiwi driver, but he raced in the Australian series, so we claim him. He ran this legacy in this like I say, like the old school kind of styling. It was like that, but it was like a splash. Like blue, and it looked like someone had like got some yellow paint and just,
like mud and splatter paint.
Yeah.
The 90s was all about the splatter paint look.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I would fucking do that for sure. I love that old WRX writing. You go, what the fuck is that? It almost looks like she belongs on like a beach buggy or something. You know, some rental
Brilliant.
bicycle on Venice Beach. But okay, I don't know. I don't think you should buy a Fiesta ST as an investment. But if assuming you're in America, you can still buy like. I think Europe and in Australia, you have a 3-cylinder Fiesta ST now, right? Don't you?
we've got the. Oh yeah, we do actually.
Yeah, and in Europe
yeah.
too. But in America, they kept
not
making the old one for another year,
okay.
so you can still get the 4-cylinder
Yep.
one here. So if you want a great daily driver, like they're rad. So like buy one as a great daily driver, and like it may hold its value better than another car that is continuing production because someone will want that used and they won't be able to buy a new one.
Yeah.
But investment is a strong word.
Yeah, unless you're going to keep it for
25
30 years. Right.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for the youth of today who can't afford a Fiesta ST to go, I can't wait till I make some money and I can buy a Fiesta ST.
It's not that you can't afford it. It's the youth of today that got, driven to kindergarten in a Fiesta ST. That's who, because that's attainable, Right now, those kids are dreaming about singers and fucking,
That's true.
Or not, or maybe not. Maybe they're just playing Forza on their iPads and they don't give a fuck about cars, and the whole market's gonna tank because no one gives a shit anymore, right?
You reckon the classic car market is?
No, because look at you. You have 3 classic cars. You're a 30-year-old woman. That's why.
old.
What do you mean that's old? You don't think?
But you reckon for the next gen? I grew up with my parents really into it.
Well, look,
I
for
suppose
the next gen, I don't know, but you people like you and I are probably going to be around playing this little game for at least 30 or 40 more years, so it'll buy us some time. We'll be okay.
We'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll be fine. And if we have children and we teach our children to be into this shit, then they probably will too.
But your kids are going to probably want to go into horse racing again.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make them play
flipping.
golf or tennis or something. And then just be the manager in the background.
Yeah, well, you'll be
Living
on the
off
fucking
their millions.
You'll be on the golf cart, fucking yumping it out of the sand traps,
Yeah.
like double caution too.
I'll be banned from the golf course.
Alan wants to know, what's your favorite Australian market only car? Trying to think. I want to like the Falcon because it's an inline 6 with a turbo in it, but I've never been in one.
Like the SV6 Commodore and stuff that they've recently made is before the production
Is that
closed
the
down
end
over
of
there.
the Commodores?
Yeah,
What's it called?
more or less. SV6.
XV6?
It's like the one before the last model. They're kind of
yeah.
in like the R8, the competition versions of those are.
It's very
They're pretty
popular
fun.
in America as a thing to do to holding up they sell them here as Chevrolets.
Yeah.
So they do the Holden front bumper and the Holden badges
Yeah, we
and shit.
saw a couple actually. I was like,
Did you?
that's a new gen Commodore.
Yeah. They do the 2015s, which I don't even think they were really ever making in Australia. The last ones they were selling here were sweet.
Yeah.
They were really nice cars. Yeah, and nobody wanted them.
Yeah, sadly. Good looking car.
Did we ever do the
mine shaft?
Oh,
yeah.
what's the mine?
The mine
what is
shaft.
that?
It's a so they don't run it anymore because I had too many crashes. But I did it. I did it in my Mitsubishi Mirage.
It said at ROC. What's ROC?
Rally of Canberra.
Oh, okay. Why
so
was it so dangerous?
So it's basically literally the road drops away. You go up this blind crest. If you try Rally of Canberra, and the road basically drops away. It's super steep. So if you
That top left picture looks like a Subaru going off of.
okay, that top left
Jesus.
picture. That's
Whoa.
a little bit too much.
Whoa,
air
the
there.
second row, is that true? There's
No, I don't know what that is.
What the fuck?
But
Yeah.
so that's obviously that ended badly.
Blind crest.
Because you have to brake quite a lot for it, and you can't see it obviously, and it's just the road drops away. So if you get it wrong,
Just crunch
is that
nose.
a VR4? There was a VR4 once that had a big crash there. Oh, that might be my mum. Well, it's their team anyway.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. See, Subaru used to sponsor it, so at least they... I remember going to that rally when Subaru sponsored it, and I was sort of on the Toyota camp because Mum was driving a Toyota, but we were completely surrounded by blue jackets everywhere, so now I'm...
Oh, it worked.
now I'm with the Blue Army. But,
How's your mom feel about all that?
Oh, look, she... that's...
Oh, my God. Is that the fucking hill?
Is that? Oh, no,
That looks
that's
like that's a video game.
yeah.
Oh,
but
okay. That's pretty
similar,
much... Yeah.
Similar view, yeah. So they just had too many accidents, so they don't run it. We run literally, the stages we run now run right past it, but we just don't turn down there. But yeah, I did it in the Mirage. Good old Mirage.
Managed to not
That was
crash?
great. Managed to not crash. Got some good air,
Yeah?
but managed to keep it. Keep
How
the
many
wheels on
times
the
do you
ground.
launch a rally car before the shocks need rebuilding?
So we'd pull apart our suspension after every rally, so that's 200,
Yeah.
300 kilometres. But that's normally just a service, so
Yeah.
they probably might get a full rebuild halfway through the season.
Unless you're in
good.
Finland. If you're racing Finland, I'm sure it's a little
Well,
bit
it's
more
actually it's
frequent.
not too rough.
Because it's just so flowy.
Yeah, it's more like the heavy impacts that are worse than the sort of bigger
What's rougher?
conditions.
The desert rallies are rough, right? Because there's rocks and stuff.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them. We get like the WRC rally that we do. The last round of our series is also the last round of the World Championship, and that gets pretty rough just because the WRC cars just annihilate the roads, and then you come along after them, and it's just these ruts that are huge, and then all the stones and everything from like deep in the road get exposed, and
Jeez.
yeah,
Tears it up.
gets pretty gnarly.
Let's see. Oh, thanks for all the content. Thank you. Oh, and Zach, your one takes are sick. They are. Zach is doing a good job.
Thank you, Shishi.
Gabriel says, was able to do a certain road in 6 minutes. I don't want to know don't give me your times. Even if you donate, I don't want to know your times down the canyon roads. Let's not start
that.
Let's not start that. I don't think I've ever brought up times down a road except maybe with the Ford GT because it was so extraordinary. But just don't do that. I'm glad you enjoyed that road, Gabriel, and thank you for the donation. But let's not talk about how fast let's not time yourself. Let's go to, if you want to time yourself, a lot of racetracks around to do that. I fucked up in the Instagram post. I said Molly had a CSL, but it's really just a douchey regular
shoot me down.
E46 M3.
Yeah, hero to zero, bam, right there.
What color is yours?
So, silver.
Okay.
Silver. It's a very good condition 2-owner. That's sort of my. Hopefully, one of those cars you're like, I wish I bought that 5 years ago. I'm hoping in 5 years I
cracks in
say
your
that.
subframe?
No, it's good. It's good. Hasn't had the reinforcement, but it hasn't.
It hasn't?
No, but it's 2 owners been looked after.
Speaking of your BMWs, you told me yesterday that your dad bought a car with your money for you, but without your knowledge, which I think is very funny. The Z30 M3.
That's true.
Yeah,
he sent me a photo at this, there's a Cars and Coffee event once a month in Sydney that we go to, and I couldn't make it. So my dad knew I loved the E30s, and so he sent me this picture of this beautiful white E30 M3, like 66,000 Ks on it, left-hand drive from Japan, like immaculate. And he said, it's a shame you're not here. And I said, is it for sale? And I was kind of half joking. And he wrote back and was like, yes, it is. I bought it. And so I was like, what? Can I go halves with you or something? Can we have this as a project? And he said, oh, no, I don't have any money. You bought it.
Wow.
So that was about the point that I said to my sister, sorry, this house
we're not
investment
getting
we're
a
going to go
house.
halves into, I'm out.
Dad just fucked us.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now I have an E30 M3.
Yeah, and she went off. She was, you have to text him back now and tell him to get out of the sale. He can't do that.
And you're like,
and I was like,
I have no service.
Well, can't he?
Yeah.
Was it to your standards? I mean, because
is good,
I'm sure
yeah.
your dad knows a thing about
Yeah,
a
but
car.
the problem is
so.
my dad he loves everything at every stage of restoration
Oh,
need.
that's
So
different.
sometimes you have to kind of, really check things out.
Yeah.
But this was a good one.
He'll go,
so.
I can fix that. And you go, yeah, but we don't want to.
Yeah. My point exactly. I want to just enjoy it, maintain it fine, but like a full resto, I'm not down for that.
Yeah. Understandable. Still, sweetie 30.
Cool.
Last one, I have a 95 Impreza that has a stock open diffs. I will be at my first rally cross with it. What should I expect compared to a 2.5 RS Impreza with a stock LSD? I think
Well,
uneven power distribution.
yeah.
Well, I don't know. Unpredictability. What do you think, Molly?
Yeah, I mean, on the I guess on the tarmac sections of the rallycross is tarmac and gravel. Is that what
I don't know. I don't think they use different words here,
Yeah,
sort
okay.
of. They there's what we were talking about last night at dinner, global rallycross.
Yeah.
That's some tarmac and some dirt, like in a stadium. I think he's talking about amateur, which is fundamentally an autocross but
Yeah.
on dirt.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Isn't
I mean,
that
it's
what-
just
Well, and also like Ryan Semanchik, he's done rallycross on the East Coast, and it was held at a dirt oval track where they add some right-hand turns.
Yeah, okay.
So it was the same surface the whole time, but it was like a just contained rally.
Yeah. I mean, in the faster flowing stuff, it'll be fine. It'll just be like the tight corners and stuff. You'll just feel one wheel,
do this with the hairpins.
Yeah, if you've got any bit of uneven surface or grip change, or like you're cutting the inside of a corner and a wheel gets light, then you're just gonna get a lot of one wheel spinning a few times, which is just going to make it not as direct to drive. You're gonna have to wait a bit more if you're trying to get power down and got coming out of a corner and you still got lock on.
Swap the dips is what he should do.
Put an LSD in it,
yeah.
for
Go to
sure.
a junkyard and get a 2.5 LSD.
But the more important thing is you're driving, sir. That's the more important thing. You're doing
You're
it.
driving and a
He's doing
Subaru
it.
and it's rally, so
Yeah,
winning.
it's a short race, so it'll
Winning.
probably finish. What? Sorry.
Ouch.
Thanks for doing the show, Molly.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you could come.
Thanks for having me.
And what do you want to plug?
What do I want to plug?
Yeah. Subaru Rally Team Australia.
Subaru Rally Team Australia, yeah. This is my 3rd year with them. So, yeah, I feel very lucky that, it took about 11 years to be able to actually do it as a job rather than living in barns and doing all that stuff. So I feel, very lucky. Would love to come and do some stuff over here too. So
We're going to try and work
got
on
any
that.
ideas,
If
then,
anyone runs a rally team in America,
yeah.
Molly's information is on her
Rally,
Instagram.
Rallycross, I'll do either. So, would love to come back. So hopefully.
Thanks
and
for
if not,
coming.
just for SEMA.
And Reebok.
And Reebok.
And what's your, what are the bars?
Blue Dinosaur. So I think they're starting over here. They're really good. So we went hiking yesterday. I fed Matt some.
They're good. They're protein bars.
Oh, protein bar.
Yeah, they're
Protein bar,
protein
yeah.
bars. They're nice. Yeah. We fucking went on a nice hike yesterday, and it was hot. And I have a theory actually. Speaking of this,
Okay.
in the show, I've been taking blood pressure medication for like a year because I had high blood pressure, but I stopped drinking for like a month, and continued taking the medication normally. But and when I went back to, I've only been going back to a little bit of drinking. I think my natural lowered blood pressure is making me lightheaded when I exercise because it's medication and not drinking lowering my blood pressure on its own.
So you're saying you should drink
should
more, is that?
Either drink more or take less medication. That's my self-diagnosis. This is WebMD on the Spoken Talk podcast.
I'm definitely not advising you either way.
I had that thought because I was like all lightheaded yesterday,
yeah.
and I think that's.
Well,
I
low
think
blood
this
pressure's
might be
gonna
why.
do that,
Yeah,
for
probably.
sure.
But the bars were good. They cured.
Thank you for the bars.
Yeah, they helped. They were good as fuck.
They're good. All right.
Molly Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. Molly_Rally on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Someone stole Molly Rally with no underscore, so
It's okay. The underscore's all right. It's not. It's. I thought those things were going to be a bigger deal than they ended up being. Yeah, you can underscore it.
I just have to remember to spell tire right when I look for you.
Sorry about that. When you search for shit on Google, my standard tags I put on all the things have tire spelled your way too. So if you type it in, you're going to find it.
We can find you either
but
way.
not in the URL. No, you have to get that one right,
have to spell
unfortunately.
it.
It's probably some fucking troll on the other one. Fucking just talking shit about me.
Wait until you buy it off them.
Fuck, did you see the video, the email conversation I had with the stolen content person?
No.
So here's a little YouTube, before we get out of here, a little YouTube insider thing. YouTube has just added a very helpful tool.
Yep.
That's like an auto copyright flagger. So like you just click a tab in your dashboard and it shows all the people that might have violated your copyright. It's actually quite nice. So Zach has gone through the trouble of clicking like "fuck you all" and whatever.
I found like 100. When
Yeah.
we found the feature right before I left for
and
vacation.
some
yeah.
had like a lot of views, right?
Yeah, there were the Paul Walker car collection was stolen 20 times probably, and I bet
Wow.
6 of those had millions of views.
And
then
it's like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Our New Zealand rally video was stolen by
Really?
Car and Driver Mexico.
So yeah,
should
so
make
that
an
was it,
Australian
right?
rally video.
So the Car and Driver Mexico stole our video, and I happened upon a correspondence in an email Zach had responded to, and some woman at a multi-channel network in Mexico that represents Car and Driver Mexico emailed Zach and said, "Hey, I see you flagged this content. Would you unflag it?" And Zach was like, "No, that's our video. Like they stole that, and we're gonna need you to take that down." And she responded like, "Okay, we'll take it down, but first you have to unflag it because if we take it down while it's flagged, they will never be eligible to get rid of the strike on their channel." And at this point, I jumped in and responded, "Fuck them and their strike. Like this is not my problem. Like I don't give a shit. Like." Go ahead. Why do I have sympathy? And she was like, "Oh, I was just, I thought we could reach an understanding about this." And I just responded again, like, I have an understanding for you. You need to understand they can take that fucking video down. And I understand that you should take that down and apologize for my inconvenience. And also, fuck them. Like, who else's shit are they stealing? You know what I mean? What are they doing? And like
they were trying to get a plea deal of like, we'll plead guilty, but we'll take off the
we'll
misdemeanor.
take it down.
Allow us to do it again.
If you
somewhere else.
unflag us, no, fuck them. They can let them have their strike. Eat a dick. It's like that shit wasn't an accident. Someone took it and went, I like that video. I'm just gonna take it and put it on my channel.
That's so cheeky.
Yeah, happened a lot.
It happens all the time. All the time. And usually it gets like 12 views, but sometimes someone will take it that has an actual audience and just like take
But
it.
you think those people should know better?
Fucking know better? What are you kidding?
What's funny is today I looked up, there was a Family Guy quote I wanted to find. I looked up, and it's on YouTube, of course, but the person who uploaded it, they know that if you either change the visuals a little bit or the audio a little bit, YouTube's algorithms can't find it. So sometimes you can find stolen movies on YouTube where like it's a bad ratio. The aspect ratio is bad, or they'll have like an animation of a shitty TV screen and then the video's playing in the TV. But this is Family Guy where they just basically tweaked the audio voices, so they were like they're all a bit higher, a little bit faster, and it was really like they're saying the right words, but no one sounds correct right now. They know they won't get flagged.
Oh man.
There you go.
All right, that's a good show. I like that. Have a safe trip home to Australia, Molly.
Thank you very much.
You have an open invitation anytime you're in America.
Thank you. We'll be back.
Yes, absolutely. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own podcast at shoutengine.com. All you need is some type of microphonic device. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, connection to the internet, and ideally something to say. Thanks, kids. We'll see you next time. Bye.